Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is going to be my Shop My Stash for October. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. In this video, I'm going to be updating you on all the bits that were in my Shop My Stash for September, which was a lot of the new Essence and Catrice stuff, and I'm going to be rolling things in to be testing out in October, as well as perhaps go back to some old favorites. So I'm first going to give you the update, then I'll show you what lipsticks I was using all month, then we'll go into the drawer and select some new things, and then I'll show you what eyeshadow palettes I will be reviewing, and I have a little bit of a surprise for you at the end. So first things first, I actually used up product, and this is finally gone. It's the lip balm by C.O. Bigelow. I picked this up from Liberty's in London because I had tried some other C.O. Bigelow lip balms in the past, and I really enjoyed those. But this was weird, and I will not be repurchasing it. I did manage to use it up completely, but what ended up happening with this is that it kind of like melted when it was summer and it got too warm, and I got a lot of oil and I didn't get the balm, and it would actually dry out my lips. But once it like cooled down again and I got actually more of the lip balm again, it worked fine. So that's why I'm not going to be repurchasing it, because I do like these ointment, sort of balmy kind of things for my lip balms, but this just wasn't quite it. So this is gonna now go into the beauty empties, and believe it or not, but this new cushion from Essence is already 100% gone. I can no longer get anything out of this, like not enough for a full face. So if you were interested in the new Brighten Up Cushion Foundation from Essence, I don't think I would recommend it because it just runs out super quickly. And as far as I can tell, like I think you are supposed to be able to take the white bit out and to then be able to refill it. But even though it's super cheap and cheerful, the shade of this wasn't perfect, was a little bit too yellow for me. And I just felt that especially this applicator that it comes with, it just eats up all the product. I feel like everything is now in this pad instead of it going onto my face. So, and the pad was really stiff as well. I really struggled using this around my nose. So this, as far as cushion foundations go, I've definitely tried better things. So this is already gonna go into the use up pot. This is really close to being done. I think actually this month I'm gonna make it happen, but this is the NYX HD eyeshadow primer, but it's gonna stay in for another month. My MAC Paint Pot in Painterly, it's got a huge dent. Really, really nice to see that progress there, but these last me roughly like a year and a half to 2 years easily with daily use, so I know I won't be able to use that up anytime soon. This eyeshadow, I keep thinking I'm going to hit pan on it. It's a little gross and dusty, I do apologize, but it's got a huge dent. It just does. You can't see it with this shade though. Brow product wise, I've actually used this up, but I was in the store the other day and trying to pick up a new Essence Make Me Brow, and they didn't have my shade. It was out of stock. So, but that's now gone. I need to get a replacement for that. And then my brow pencil is still doing okay. Like these Soap and Glory skinny pencils are like the only ones I've tried that do last you longer than just like a month or so. This Catrice mascara, the new tubing Stay in Place mascara, is gone. It's just super dry now. I cannot get this to look nice. This worked really well though. I just didn't like the definition it gave. I just like more volume in my lashes, so it wasn't the best look, but it was easy to remove. With just water, this would come off. I didn't really need any like special cleansers with it. But it did last if I like did a sweaty workout or something. So this is a good mascara if you're looking for a tubing mascara. I just didn't like the look it gave to my lashes. I also threw in the Essence Lash Without Limits tubing mascara once that one was come out, and I've been wearing that one for the past week or so, and I like it less than the Catrice one. It does have the same sort of tubing effect. It's very easy to remove it, but it still stays put. However, I really do not like the brush. And that's weird because I like the regular Lash Without Limits like just fine. I have the brown one. I had a black one. Like I like this mascara. I just don't like the way this looks. It's just not giving me enough of an effect So this I'm going to be moving out of my active makeup collection as well. These brown ones I haven't used all month, so I need to check them real quickly. I think these are good for another round, so I can use these for another round. The Kosas powder, good enough to go again for another round. I'm digging a nice little hole into this. And then for primer, I was using the Kosas Glow IV. This is discontinued and I'm getting really low on it. So again, perhaps in like the next month or two, I will be able to use this up. Concealer I was trying to use up as well. It's getting there. Like, can you see that stripe? Like, it has several of those every single time I use it. So I know this Tower 28 concealer is getting there, but it does come with quite a lot of product and I've been using it for months, but I'm going to keep it in because I do want to make sure I use it up. You can see that my setting spray is all the way in at its last little bit. I think just a few more weeks of this, and then also my ColourPop Pretty Fresh will be running out, but I have 3 of those in backup. And this, actually to my surprise, is a lot further down than I had expected. I'm not going to be keeping it in though. I am going to be putting it with my makeup empties because I don't really see myself using this in October. It's getting to that point where a formula and shade like this isn't working for me and I want to get some more use out of my other Giorgio Armani foundation that I've been trying to use up this year. And it's like down to here. Like it only has like 3 uses left or something. So for me, that's good enough. There is a lot of product stuck to the sides here. So it actually looks like there's more in here than there actually is in here. And I'm not a fan of cutting packaging open. There's a reason why it comes in a tube like this. That is to protect a formula and to make sure you don't get any sort of issues with your skin after using it. So that's why I'm not a fan of doing that. I know some people will, but sometimes after cutting packaging open, which I've done in the past, you can sometimes still be using a product for weeks on end, but if it's then exposed to air, bacteria can grow so easily, so that's why I'm not a fan. So this is also going to go into the makeup use up pile. I have already replaced my lip balm with the new Catrice Pillow Plush Peptide Lip Mask. I've only used it once or twice for the review, but I thought that if I rolled it in now, I can update you when I do my giant overview once I've tested out all of the Essence and Catrice bits. I had my Kiko bronzer that I had in here over the summer, which was successful. It was fine. I was sent some YESSTYLE makeup in June. So this is the Flower Nose Liquid Blush from the Strawberry Cupid range. This is beautiful, but it's not really my favorite shade. So I know I will be decluttering this once that time rolls around. It's October, I know, but I'm already thinking about declutters because I always do them, like I film them in February and then I post them in March. This was really successful. The Peripera Syrupy Talk Cheek was actually really beautiful. I do keep this little thing in its sprout because I am afraid it's going to leak everywhere. And this is the way, like you need to press this soft bit of rubber and then the product will come out. And this is actually clear. So after a couple of uses, you can actually see the product going down, which I always enjoy with liquids. But yeah, it's time to select something else again. The Aura Glam Balm Highlighter from Catrice. This was super successful. I think if there is a single highlighter I wore the most this month, it's this one. So it was beautiful. And the Glass Like highlighter stick from Catrice is also really beautiful. This reminds me so much of the Glossier Halo Scope in quartz. It's exactly the same type of product. So this is beautiful. Super good lasting power for both of those. I really like them. And I really enjoyed my Soft Glam Baked Blush as well. I think this was my most used blush all month. Like whenever I just wanted to do a quick look, this came together every single time. It's far more neutral than you might think it looking in the pan. So it was actually really successful and I think it looked beautiful on. The Butter Like Bronze and Contour, I'm going to come back to it over the winter time and use the contour shade more. This is super messy and it like kicks up powder everywhere when you're using it. And when you stick your brush in, I find that you actually get like the indentation of the brush in your face in the powder and then you need to blend really well for that to not like show up too much. So it is a good product. It is a nice bronzer. I don't know whether I'm going to be liking this more than other bronzers I already have in my collection. That's everything that was in the drawer. These are the lip products I used. So I have been trying to also use up some lip products and that's why there just isn't as much variation here as in other months. Sometimes I wear like a different lipstick every single day for an entire month. That didn't happen this time round. I wanted to be able to show you my progress on these two Tower 28 lip glosses, so you can see that I'm roughly halfway through the Tower 28 in Pistachio and almost halfway through Sesame. I've been wearing Sesame more lately than I have Pistachio, and Pistachio is getting to the point where it's starting to smell, so regardless of whether I use these up before the end of the year, yes or no, I know I'm gonna have to like just throw them out by the time January 1st hits, because by that time they're 2 years old. Tower 28 doesn't do preservatives very well, so these can expire super quickly, and I just feel that the Pistachio one is starting to smell a little differently from when I first bought it. I have been wearing my Glossier Balm.com in Black Cherry a little bit more now. This is a little messy though when I open it up because it just spreads everywhere, but it is a beautiful product. I like this shade actually a little bit better than I do Wild Fig. Wild Fig is a little bit more warm toned, and this is cooler toned, so this is perfect for fall. I've also been wearing my Catrice Butter Dripping Glossy Lip Balm. This is in the shade Bisou. This is essentially the same thing as the Glossier, really. It's a beautiful mauve tone. Then I was using some of my MAC lipsticks. This is Root For Me Pencil. There you go, there's that shade. And I paired it with Film Noir lipstick. That's the pairing, that's how I bought them, so in my brain they go together exclusively almost. The other two MAC lipsticks I have in here are Russian Red, which I actually wore to a graduation ceremony I had to attend to give my students their diplomas. And then, of course, Twig. Where would we be without Twig? And then I've been trying to tell myself that I need to use up Velvet Muse. So this is the reason why there aren't that many different lipsticks, because this is the lipstick I actually wore the most the entire month. You can see that's a very small nib that I still have left. I have a trip planned to London, and I actually plan on picking up a backup of this and maybe then stop using this one and use the new one instead. Because that one is very close to being done. And then I busted out Velvet Beauty again, which is a bit of a, well, not a weird shade for me. It is a beautiful shade. It's the only cool tone that Lisa Eldridge has ever done, I feel. So it is beautiful, but I don't wear it a lot. So for me, it's a bit of a different shade to wear by this brand. And those were all of the lipsticks, so let me take you to the drawer and select some new products. So here we have the drawer where I always select the most from, because this is just what I change out the most. It's all of my base and like face products, you could say, like cheeks and stuff. And I think there's actually a foundation I haven't reviewed yet for you, which I still need to get around to. I actually did a full face with Kiko Milano in the spring season, and I just haven't, like, I just realized that I hadn't really gone back to any of them. So the Skin Lover Intense Serum Foundation, I'm going to be rolling in, as well as the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in shade 3. What shade is Skin Lover? I think it's 1CR. That's the shade of the Kiko, and the Giorgio Armani is in shade 3. I still have an Essence bronzer to test out, so this is the Soft Touch Butter Bronzer. I thought this was going to be a cream, but it's not, so I was a bit surprised with that, but it looked okay when I first tested it out, so that's going to be a review. I also still need to review this Catrice Under Eye Brightener. This is the liquid version of oh no, this is the powder. Where did it go? It's somewhere in here. But this is the liquefied version of the under eye primer, or the under eye brightener I really like, but I still need to review it. So selecting that, and I was like, I might as well review the other Soft Touch products as well. So this is the Soft Touch Bouncy Glow and the Bouncy Blush. Both are by Essence, and they're in their new lineup. Also from Kiko, I actually picked up this limited edition liquid bronzer with the Emma Roberts collab in the spring season, so it actually has one of those like she glam kind of packaging, so this was an interesting product, so I still need to test that out as well, so I'm going to put that in for a review. And just to make sure I have something in that I know I love, the Becca bronzer in Bali Sands. And I think I want to select my Catrice Glow Lover. This is an older highlighter that they used to do, but I haven't used it in a while, so it's time for me to be using that again. And I do want to put in a Sydney Grace cream highlighter as well. This is Sugar Cookie. A blush I feel I should use a little bit more is REM Beauty's Rose on Mars. I think this is a beautiful color for fall. And I want to go back to my Merit Flush Balm. This is in Archival, which is again beautiful for fall. So I've quickly added everything I needed to add to the drawer. I have selected a new brow gel. I actually have a clear brow gel from Sydney Grace. I have 2 of these, so in lieu of me not being able to find my favorite Essence Make Me Brow, I will just be using that to see if I like it, because I've never tried that. And then I do still have some more new mascara that I just want to try more, so that early November I can do a full video with all of my thoughts on a lot of the new Essence and Catrice stuff. I think I now have selected pretty much everything save for the primers to be testing out a little bit more. So this is the purple version of the Lash Princess, the Hyper Lash Mascara in Burgundy from Catrice, and the Lash Without Limits Waterproof Mascara in a black, because I figure this way I have it just covers all bases. And we probably will have rain because it is now fall, so a waterproof mascara I always need. And then I just have everything in here to have and keep with me. Now I would like to show you what eyeshadow palettes I will be reviewing for you this month, as well as show you what eyeshadow palettes I want to go back to. So for the palettes I want to review, there are going to be 7 options here, which is a lot, which is why the palettes revisited side of things is a little bit more pared down than I normally would go for. This is of course brand new from MONOLITH and Glaminatrix, so I wanted to make sure I could test it out as quickly as I can. By the time you're watching the video, actually, I will have already tested out this palette, because I actually had a little bit of time left in September. So I'm still testing this one out in September, so I can already like mention it in a video really soon. And yeah, so this was sent to me in PR by MONOLITH, and I knew I wanted to get to it straight away so I can give you all of my thoughts. I didn't want to leave this one hanging, you could say. So the Crown Legacy from MONOLITH was sent to me in PR. It's going to show up in a haul as well, but this is definitely something that I wanted to test out straight away. And then I have the 6 palettes that I was either sent in PR or bought myself from MONOLITH over the summertime after I came back from my travels. They sent me the Terra Moons Ophiuchus eyeshadow palette, which looks beautiful, very fall coated, so can't wait to play with these. And this is the reason why I think I'll manage, is because not all of these have 20 pans, you know? This is a good solid 12, so that's 2 looks and you're done. So I think I can manage that way. And the Bonfire by Glaminatrix, they also sent me in PR. I love the embossing on the packaging. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's really beautiful. And this is also only 12 pans. So the Crown Legacy is 15, but that's going to be tested out in September already. And then these 2 only have 12. And then Divrun Cosmetics, which I paid for with my own money, Magnetic Mineralia, has 15 shades. So, you know, that's the way I feel like I can perhaps like manage it to like review all of these things for you. If I don't, then I will make sure to roll them into November, of course. But yeah, this is the Unoriginal Nudes from Bella Beauté Bar. This looks beautiful when you swatch it, but it's pretty warm toned. Like, for some reason, all of the shimmers in this half of the palette are gold. I didn't realize that when I bought it. And then, of course, my 2 new Cosmic Beauty palettes. These are 20 colors each. So we have the Muse, which, upon swatching, I'm not entirely sure whether this is going to be my favorite. It has some beautiful shades in. I'm not entirely sure I enjoy how the color story comes together for my complexion. But of course, the Smolder. And for a palette called Smolder, I expect it to be more of a smoky eye palette. But this is actually quite light. We only really get 3 very deep things. And everything else in here is pretty gray leaning, very taupe leaning. There's a little bit of warmth here in the top, but it's overall a pretty good light, cool tone, neutral color story from what I can tell by swatching it. So this is the one I'm most excited for. So that's what I will be testing out that's new to me. And these are the things I then want to go back to. So smaller palettes, things I just want to try a bit more. And I finally did it, you guys. I finally managed to create some custom palettes with some of my singles. That has been on the wish list for me to include that in a video since the start of the year, and I finally managed to think ahead and plan this out. I didn't film putting it together for you. I sat down on my floor the other day. I was like, oh, I should have filmed this, but then I had already created the palette, so wasn't going to put everything back in. So I thought, after filming my fall palettes video that you saw on Thursday, that I could go back to my Dior Smoky Essentials. I think it's very fall. And then in a recent grungy palette video, I mentioned wanting to pair these two together. So the Baroque from ColourPop, I just haven't used in ages. And I thought, because this is pretty blue heavy, that it could be paired nicely with some shades from the Troublemaker. I do feel that some of these gray tones and these purples can work really well with the Baroque. So I'm going to see what I can cobble together using the two palettes together. And then I have my Mary Jane. Again, something I put in my fall video and I was like, oh, but this is so beautiful. I want to go back to it so badly. So this had to go in. And then I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to get to all of these if I'm also reviewing 7 palettes. But I did select this, and this may just be something I keep in my Shop My Stash for the rest of fall, because I just selected some of my favorite fall colors. Also some shades that I wanted to like test out. I don't even know where these came from. I don't think these have a name on them. Like there's no name on these, so I pulled them from a palette. Not sure what palette. I think this is a Sydney Gray shade. Yes, that's Starfish. This is Max Woodwinged and Patina? No, Satin Taupe. I keep messing up. Ever since I saw Elizabeth on TikTok rave about her MAC singles, I now wanted to use all of my MAC singles again. And I've got quite a few of those in my singles collection. This is Truffle Toffee from Sydney Grays. This was in the mystery bags that I got over the summertime. And this is another mystery shade where I don't know where it came from. And then in here, I have the rest of the shades. So I figured like this could be, like I don't really have a good empty palette that can fit all of these shades in, but they kind of go together. That was the plan. So I have the lighter options in one thing. And then here I have some of my Cliona multichromes. I selected Bloodline in here. And I think this is Cobblestone. No, Opulent. Opulent is in here. So this is Bloodline. That's one of my favorites actually from Cliona. That's Opulent. And this is Glint. Then this is Tea Garden from ColourPop. This, I believe, is another shade from Sydney Grays. Yes, this is Apple Strudel, which is another shade from a mystery bag that I've had for some time. And then this Lethal shade, this is Lethal Cosmetics Eden. This is Max Wedge. This dark brown, I think it was also for my recent, yeah, this is Panther's Prowl from Sydney Grays, which is also in the recent mystery bag. And this shade is really beautiful. This is by Davina, but this is by Davina and it's another multi-chrome, which is called Asteria. So I felt this way I have like all of my fun multi-chromes in one palette with some duochromes. And then here I have some like taupey leaning, more neutral leaning shimmers with a dark green in. Maybe I should put Wedge in here, but it's fine. But this way I felt I could like cobble something together here. So I think if I do have days left in the month where I still need to do some eyeshadow and I want to go back to some like older palettes, I'm going to prioritize using these two over the palettes that I've selected. I can easily roll the palettes into November and just have them stay another month. But with these, I really just want to prioritize using some of my singles again. So that's why I've selected these two, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun playing with these. So that was the surprise. I finally managed to wrap my head around finding some of my singles and making a color story with them so I can use them, sort of thing. So yeah, thanks so much for watching me here today. I hope you really enjoyed watching this video. Thumbs up the video if you liked it. I do a video like this every single month. So if you want to stay updated on what's going on, what I'm reviewing, what I'm testing out, what I'm trying to use up, then this is the video for you. And I always give a little bit of a sneak peek of what content you can expect, because if anything is new and I still need to review it, It's gonna go be reviewed over on the blog sometime within the month, you could say. And I will, of course, do an eyeshadow palette review video with the eyeshadow palettes. And I always do a video where I look back on the palettes I used again. So that's going to be a separate video as well. So I hope you really enjoyed this video here today. Thumbs it up and stay tuned because I will be back with a new video very, very soon. Bye-bye.